Mangle from Washington tonight. Ignore the panicans, keep the focus. And that's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, how many times do we have to see the same pattern unfold? All right, I'm talking about the wishful thinking predictions from Democrats, from the press, and of course, never Trump establishment Republicans. The prediction that Trump is finished. Now, the hyperbolic headlines, the midterm turmoil, and all the breathless commentary.
If they're not willing to stand up to Trump and stand up to these disastrous policies, they will lose even more races.
And that is a recipe for political trouble, if not disaster, for Republicans.
He knows that if the midterms were handled right now and they tried to run on immigration, they would probably lose.
He's done it. He's done it this time. He's finished. He's on the ropes. The polls are turning against him. All right. We've seen this all before. The endless predictions of doom after January 6th, during his second impeachment, when he was banned from Twitter, that was the end of the world, when he was indicted in New York and Georgia, last spring on Liberation Day. Oh my God, remember those headlines? And then when he deployed the National Guard in D.C., militarization of the nation's capital. Then when he floated using military force in Greenland a couple weeks ago, oh, he was finished then. And recently regarding ICE's handling of operations in Minneapolis.
My prediction is this stuff, your party is going to get the dog kicked out of you in the midterms. No, come on. Because this is not what people voted for, and they're going to hold the party as responsible as they should.
Okay, we'll see. Meanwhile, in the real world, Donald Trump is putting the building blocks in place for a powerful midterm strategy for Republicans, which includes a little bit of a change in tone, not an overall policy in Minnesota. His board czar, Tom Homan, who's worked for Republicans and Democrats, is doing all the right things.
We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. And they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else, and we're going to de-escalate a little bit. Tom, I've noticed, as tough as he is, he gets along very good with governors and mayors. Now, I spoke to the mayor and to the governor yesterday, and they want to see it cleared up.
So he wants a thorough and an honest investigation, which is absolutely correct, into the tragic shooting of Alex Preddy. But he added this.
You can't walk in with guns. You just can't. And you can't, listen, you can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's a very unfortunate incident.
Even the protesters in their own Signal chat room said, don't come armed, don't bring weapons. And later in the day, the president said he would, as you heard him say earlier, likely de-escalate. But various news reports today confirmed that immigration agents were still out doing their work in Minnesota. They were carrying out arrests, minus the large fleet of vehicles and some of the drama. So the protests now are fairly quiet. And if you go into left-wing media, which I do, sadly, because you don't want to, so I do it for you, they are infuriated. This is from the brilliant minds over at Salon, writing, in the absence of a substantive change in policy, an end to mass deportations, deploying federal officers as a paramilitary force and targeting blue cities, Democrats have a moral responsibility not to let this moment pass. Basically saying that you shouldn't buy Trump's pivot or change in tone in Minnesota. And an angled prediction here. Despite the grandstanding from the Democrats, the defund ICE movement is going to fizzle spectacularly. Because things will die down. Again, those tweaks to enforcement will be made. Good economic news will continue to roll in, and Trump will have won the moment. Angry agitators are going to end up look like they're rooting against America. It's never a good position to be in. And Democrats who run on defunding ICE will be seen as open borders radicals, like Georgia Democrat Jon Ossoff, who's running for re-election, remember. And he sounds like he wants no immigration enforcement at all.
We are living through perilous and disorienting moments. How can it be that masked federal agents set up checkpoints in American cities, demand papers, rip Americans from their cars and throw them to the ground? There's a wickedness to the program.
Now, has Ossoff ever used adjectives like wicked to describe what illegals like Kenneth Moreno Guzman have done in his own state? Guzman's accused of raping an 11-year-old girl at knife point in her own bedroom. Time and again, Democrats are exposed for their selective moral outrage about victims in this current immigration debate. Although Trump won Kentucky 3 times, by 26 points once and twice by 30 points, their governor is also jumping on the anti-ICE bandwagon.
What are you going to do if and when a massive ICE operation is launched in Kentucky?
Well, the first thing we have to do is demand that they pull these officers out of all of our cities and that they fully retrain every single one of them. They are operating with aggressive tactics that are not appropriate for law enforcement. They are not following our Constitution.
Okay, the governor, Andy Beshear, ignores that ICE is arresting threats in his own state. And by the way, without incident, like Gildardo Armando Martinez. He's accused of murdering 15-year-old Luis Joscan Nanez Lopez, who was trying to stop Armando Martinez from raping the boy's mother. So the shooting deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good were tragic. We all know that. But what the monsters are doing who crossed our borders illegally and have done to our country is unadulterated evil. And it's caused by Joe Biden's open borders. And I have no nice words, by the way, for Republicans using this as an opportunity to trash DHS. Like the man who's too scared to face his own voters for re-election, Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina. He felt the need to chime in. Now, don't forget that Tillis is for immigration amnesty and loves importing foreign workers. Loves it. And there's Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy. He's no better. The man who begged Trump for help in campaigning only went on then to help Biden pass that outrage of a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. Oh my God, now he's complaining about DHS. He is in no position to give advice on anything. So never forget, the Panikins don't want Trump to succeed in deporting millions of illegals. You know, what Obama actually did. They want him to fail. But American voters overwhelmingly supported mass deportations in the last election, and Donald Trump is not about to stop now. But optimism, that is what we need. And we saw that in the start of Trump's midterm blitz today. For over 10 years, we've been hearing the so-called experts predict the end of Trump-style populism. It's over, time after time. They thought they had him cornered. And every time, every single time, he's returned stronger than before. Because he does what the voters want. He doesn't resist the voters. He listens to them. The American people elected President Trump to defend our country, secure our borders, and strengthen the economy. He's doing all three. And as those results become more obvious, President Trump's position is going to get stronger, and his opponents will be foiled again. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.